Hey, good morning. This is Sean Stein with the Mother's Touch Movers. I'm the founder and president of Mother's Touch Movers here in Melbourne, Florida, also of MTM Franchising, and we are here today to help you with some different techniques on packing, wrapping, and taking care of the customers' houses, just giving y'all some ideas on different things to do and how we do it at a Mother's Touch. We look forward to working with you as a franchisee and working with all your guys to become better movers to serve your community. So one of the first things you want to do before you move anything in or out of the house is you want to protect the house. You want to cover your banisters, protect your banisters. You want to place your door jambs on all the door jambs. So then you can start moving everything in and out of the house, and then it's time to start moving. So when you're wrapping one of your couches, what you want to do first is you want to get the pads put on the couch first. The pad is actually what's going to protect the couch. Your shrink wrap is your best friend when it comes to moving. Shrink wrap is not going to protect the couch. Shrink wrap is going to hold the pads on there. That's what it's going to do. It's not your protection. If you just put shrink wrap on a couch and you're going through the door, the shrink wrap's going to rip. And if it rips through that door, what else is going to rip? The sofa is. That's where the pad's for. So the pad is actually what's protecting the furniture. First, you're going to tape it. As you tape it, one thing about tape should never touch anything except cardboard or pad. Tape should never touch anything else. If it does, you're going to take the finish off of wood, you're going to take the finish off of leather, and then once you get the tape onto the thing, then you're going to work together, shrink wrapping the couch. So this is the way you want to properly wrap a couch. You want to wrap it first with your pads, then you want to tape it, and then you're going to shrink wrap it. Once you shrink wrap it, that's going to hold the pads on. Shrink wrap is not for protecting the furniture, it's for holding the pads on, which is the protection of the furniture. So the shrink wrap will hold it. It'll also make it easier when you're carrying it because you can grab a hold of that shrink wrap. If the shrink wrap rips, it's no big deal because you have your padding underneath it, which is what protects the couch. So a lot of times on your sofas, if you look in the back of them, any type of recliner is going to be able to, the back of them will be able to pop off. So when you take those off, it's going to make it a lot easier to get it in and out of doors when you have the backs off of the couch. They're just going to be back behind the couch. You lift up the back of it, and then you just slide that thing right off the top of it. And there you go. Simple as that. So when you're getting ready to pack the kitchen, what you want to do is go ahead and get yourself a work surface. Find yourself an area that's very much open. So what I like to do with that work surface is, first thing I like to do is protect it. We don't want to be chipping their countertops or anything like that. So I'm going to protect their countertops with a couple pads. Once I get that, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set myself up a little station here. I'm going to get my paper. I'm going to put my paper right here. Okay, and then I'm going to get stuff I'm going to start packing. And then as I get ready to pack it, then I have it all right here for me. So then, as you're packing it, you have plenty of room to pack it. And you don't want to just pack each individual plate into the box. You want to pack it right there, and then just keep packing them. And as you do that, you can make your little stack. And then you're going to keep doing that, pack them all the way up, get them all wrapped. Once you get them all wrapped, then you're going to set all your plates down in the box. When you put the plates in the box, the plates do not ever sit flat. Always sit on their side. Always pack them down like this. And then you pack your bowls and stuff along the sides to tighten them up. As you go to the next tier, what you want to do is get a couple pieces of paper, cover up that tier. Down there, this paper's cheap, so you want to use paper as much as you can. And then you're going to start packing maybe your glasses next. Now obviously when you get packing your glasses, which ones are going to go first? Well, your heaviest ones. So you want to pack your heaviest ones on the bottom. So you really just want to wrap them up like this, okay? And then you're going to pack your heavy ones down on the bottom, and then the lighter they are, the more they come up to the top. Now a lot of times you'll find, and I use these a lot, when you're packing a kitchen, I use sandwich baggies for a lot of stuff. You can go into a drawer that's got just a lot of miscellaneous stuff in it, batteries, stuff like that. A lot easier when you just put all that stuff in a baggie. It looks really sloppy when you just dump a junk drawer in a box. So I'll use the baggies to pack that stuff up and put it on the top of those boxes. Same thing with a drawer full of utensils, okay? You don't want to just grab all these and throw them in the box. What I'll do is I'll grab a few of them, I'll put them inside a piece of paper like that, and then I'll wrap it up like that. And nice and neatly, you put that in the box. That way it's not looking like you're just throwing stuff in a box, which is not the way you do it. A lot of people with pots and pans, they think they're just pots and pans. Well, today's pots and pans are not cheap. So people don't want them just thrown in a box. I recommend stuff that in there with that, okay, a little bit. And each pot and pan needs to be really wrapped before you put it down in there. Because nowadays, like I said, these pots and pans aren't cheap. And then you put it down inside your box. You can put all your pots and pans in one box, but you definitely want to keep them from just nicking each other inside of a box, okay? So basically, the kitchen's not what's gonna take you the longest in a house to pack, because every little thing needs to be wrapped. So as you're packing it, you wanna label each one of your boxes. Kitchen on the top, you wanna label it dishes, everyday dishes, you want to label it china, maybe pots and pans, silverware. So each box needs to be labeled real well on where that box is coming out of and what's going into that box. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to show the proper way to wrap a dresser. Dresser like this needs to be padded first, and then we're going to shrink wrap it. Once it's shrunk wrap, the good thing about the shrink wrap is it keeps those drawers from sliding in and out also. So once again, tape it first, and then we're gonna get the shrink wrap. We'll work together on that. They're gonna tilt this thing forward and backwards. That way, they get the pad up underneath the feet, so the feet don't get skinned, and the pad actually goes underneath the feet of the dresser. You at least wanna empty all your junk drawers. Clothes will be fine, they won't go anywhere. I do recommend you get it all out, but if you don't, at least get your junk drawers emptied out. He's gonna hold that dolly, it's gonna come up to the lip of it, and then, once again, that pad stays right on there because of that shrink wrap. And then then it's ready to go. These pieces are always a two-man piece. Don't ever try to do something like this with one guy. Always two-man, that way one guy on each side, and now you can roll that thing in and out wherever you wanna go. So that's the proper way to wrap a dresser and move it, unless you're having to carry it downstairs, obviously. So one of the things you want to be aware of is when you are putting a dresser on a four-wheeler is beware of the legs. Now this one's got very secure legs. You're not going to have an issue, but a lot of times the weight of a dresser can break those legs when you're tilting it up like that. So you need to be aware of the legs. Make sure they could just be little post legs, or they could just be fiberboard, some of that cheap board that just isn't that sturdy. So what you're gonna have to do in that case is you're gonna have to lift the dresser up and actually set it down on the four-wheeler versus tilting it up on it. You also want to be aware of your surroundings when you're tilting this thing up. You don't want it to come up and hit the fan or hit the TV. So always be aware of your surroundings as you're lifting that thing up onto the four-wheeler. So this is the way you want to wrap a dresser, tall dresser. Sometimes you're going to take two pads to cover this dresser up, but you want to cover it from the top to the bottom. Make sure the feet are completely covered. And then also these, obviously a two-wheeler behind this pulling it with two guys is the best way to do it. But sometimes you're in a tight quarters. So what you're going to do is you set that piece on a pad like it is, and these two gentlemen are going to demonstrate the way you move that around in the tight areas without putting it on a two-wheeler so it's standing straight up and down. And then this way, they can pull that thing and move it wherever they need to in tight quarters without it tilting. Much easier to move it in and out with a pad than it is to try to put it on that two-wheeler where it's real tight. Once you put it on that two-wheeler, it's gonna be angled. So your bottom's gonna be out this way more. So when it's straight up and down, it's a lot easier to get it out of tight quarters. So now we're gonna pack some pitchers, and a pitcher box is actually a 4-piece pitcher box. So the way that works is you make each corner up so it can fit different size pitchers. So here, say you put this together like that, you're gonna get your pitcher, you're gonna put your pitcher in there. Now on a pitcher like this, you could actually put 2 to 3 pitchers inside this. We're just gonna demonstrate one. Now you got it, so now you tighten it in there. Now you got that, and then you're gonna come across the top with this one, all the way down, and then once again with this one here. And then that 4 pieces make one box. And now it's completely covered. Now, if you have a smaller pitcher that doesn't take doesn't need all 4 boxes, then you could actually put the pitcher inside that there, and then you could actually cover it with that. And then you could do a smaller pitcher with just 2 pieces versus having to use the 4 pieces. So it's real simple, just depends. You can also, if the pitcher's too big, you're gonna put the 4 corners on, and then you'll put the mirror cartons around the middle where it's not covered if the pitcher's real big. So it's pretty simple, but it is something that you want to be done. It's gotta be taped up nicely. So obviously when you finish up the job, you want your truck looking exactly the way it came in. You want it looking perfectly neat, organized. You got one chance for first impression when you pull up to that job in the morning, and when your truck is neat, clean, your pads are folded, everything is in order. It makes it easier for you, it makes it easier for the guys to move around. It's just a lot more, or anything that's organized obviously is gonna be easier to work with. And that's what you want here. You wanna keep everything completely organized, keep your pads folded. Once again, you got one chance for first impression. And that's what you want. You want to impress them right when you open those doors and they see how clean you take care of your truck. All right, so we appreciate you guys joining us today. And once again, you know, we are Mother's Touch Movers. We are not just any ordinary moving company. We do things personal touch. We are definitely one step above the other companies. We want everything done right. You've seen the way we do it. That's the way we prefer everything to be done. We like to take care of the customer stuff and take care of their house. Also, we like to have the trucks looking the way they do. We are a touch above the rest, and we plan to stay that way.